This just it's dumb, like just a regular college share. See, it's
Oh,
old-fashioned
okay,
stuff.
okay.
Oh my god. Okay. Yeah, we'll have to be dealing with this stupid board up my head. I hope it's not that bad. Also, I think my lighting is worse. But you know what? I don't face cam that much anyway. All right, you ready?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes.
Okay. All right. Actually, I've been recording this entire time. Okay. All right, let's get right into it. Hey guys, welcome to not another MapleStory 2 video. This isn't a MapleStory 2 video, but welcome to Matt and my Q&A video. We're just gonna get started right away. This is Matt on the... Where am I? I'm on this side, right? Okay, so Matt's over here, and I'm over here. Yeah. Alright, so just a little bit of background. Matt and I have known each other since around like mid-2015, and we've been friends ever since. We've done a Q&A like this before, back when I was a wee little 16-year-old, and now I'm 19. How old are you, Matt? I don't know. Do you know how old you are?
Oh, 24.
Oh, they said no. What? Okay, so we're gonna be asking each other 8 questions that were picked. So I picked Matt's questions and then he picked mine, and then at the very end we're going to be asking each other a personal question, and then at the very end we're gonna choose which question both of us liked. Or like, I'm gonna choose a question I liked, and then Matt will choose a question he liked, and whoever asks that question will receive 10k NX or whatever gift card you want for $10. So I guess let's get right into it.
Mm-hmm.
You go first.
Okay. Alright, first question comes from G Heels, asking, if you had the opportunity to do anything with anyone, living or dead, what would you do? No rules, literally anything. Starting off strong. Anyone.
Do anything with anyone, no strings attached, no holds barred. I can get away with it no matter what. There's no issue. I can literally live out any fantasy I want to. It's almost as if you're expecting some sort of very vulgar response. But let's see. Wow, this is hard. This is really hard. Let's see.
Maybe you should have started with an easier question.
No, okay, you know what? Just for the sake of indulging these, I will binge watch the most uncomfortable anime possible with my parents. I will binge watch the most uncomfortable anime possible with my parents. So this is essentially a dare. I can't think of anything more obscure. You guys are kind of expecting an answer like that, right? So I'm just like, I'll ask the parents
like you literally with anyone, you would watch anime. That's what you would do.
Actually, no, I'll binge watch with Donald Trump. That's what I would do. That's better. Okay, let's binge watch the most uncomfortable anime. It doesn't have to be like inappropriate. It just has to be very uncomfortable, and I'll watch it with Donald Trump in front of the entire world. But if I had the ability to
live stream,
and if I had the ability to, I would erase everyone's or my existence from everyone's memory afterwards. So it'll just be only Donald Trump watching very weird anime. How do you want me to answer that question? I don't know how to.
Oh.
Okay, all right, that works. Okay, my question for you. I'll start with a very simple one. Okay.
Okay.
This is from Slow Bomb. What's your favorite outdoor activity?
Basketball.
Basketball, really?
Yep.
Isn't just
yep.
like
I love sports in general. Basketball being my favorite. I played a lot of handball growing up first, and then I got into basketball senior year of college. Yeah, I don't really play it as often as I'd like to, but you know, I like it.
Wait, what's handball though? I don't think I've heard of.
American handball. You just literally hit a ball against a wall.
Oh, okay, so it's like racquetball with basketball, almost.
It's like tennis with your hands.
Oh, okay.
And against the wall.
That sounds very reminiscent to, was it Wall Ball? That one game where it's like if you throw a ball and if you miss it, you gotta run to the wall quickly or something before someone throws it? Okay.
I remember playing that in middle school, yes.
Do they still? I really hope. Or like box ball. That's also good too. You know, have you played box ball?
No.
Or I think it might be called Foursquare or something, like where there's like 4 squares and you just gotta like bounce the ball in between or whatever.
No.
Okay, it was probably just my weird school.
Okay. Next question. This is coming from Mega Charmander X Fiery.
Oh, I know him. Yeah.
Would you move into a house with content creators in the future if you are popular? Or I guess if you ever blew up and got popular.
Let me guess. I'm assuming he watches offline TV. I think he watches offline TV. The short answer, yes. The long answer, yes, with conditions because of It's kind of ironic because I'm a person who enjoys attention, but at the same time, attention drains me very quickly. So I feel like if you join a gaming, or not gaming, if you join like a content creator house like they have with offline TV or just friends, there's a chance that you can that almost everything you do will be filmed, right? Because like they film things like, you know, what was that one thing again called? Was
well, what if it's not in that case? Like, what if it's just you and a bunch of other people, like really chill people, and you just kind of do your own thing, but you're just like living together because it's like cheaper or whatever, you know?
Then I would have no point. I would have no problem with it. It's just more the case of like because I'm uncomfortable live streaming. I mean, Matt, you're super comfortable with this, so you don't mind being constantly filmed. But for me, I'm very camera shy, so even this is kind of uncomfortable for me. So for me, like I said, it would be with conditions. I would like us to respect each other's privacy. Everyone does their own thing. Then that's fine. Like if we're just roommates. But if it's like we film every single thing that we do, like mukbang or something like that. I mean, I might do that here and there, but it's just, you know, I would like to have my own peace and quiet and stuff.
Right.
But I wouldn't have any qualms with joining a content creation house. All right, okay. Let's see. What's your dream job, and if you had the opportunity to achieve it, but at the cost of all Maple and streaming, would you take it?
Yes, because currently, as it stands, I would just love to work for MapleStory.
So, like, you go from streaming
I did recently apply for the community manager position for MapleStory.
What happened with Otto?
No, he's still working there. I believe he got a promotion, but they are looking for help over there. And I did apply. I got several interviews. I thought I did pretty well, but in the end, wasn't really looking, or I wasn't who they were looking for, like exactly.
Aww.
I guess my lack of experience, right? Which is understandable because I do have a lack of experience in that department.
Were they looking for someone in a more managerial position, or?
It's the game's been out for like, you know, several years, and I just think that they would prefer somebody that, you know, knows more or less the job itself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you probably have more fun being a streamer though. But any other job?
It's a lot of fun, yeah. But I would definitely like just trade that just so I could like work on the game, like even if it's not directly, right? But just like help it out, because MapleStory has been such a big part of my life, and I would like to like just give back in a really positive way. And if I would be able to do that like really like directly, then you know that would be awesome.
Yeah, I share that same sentiment. Like I would have, I guess, aspirations of wanting to work for the very games that I play.
Mm-hmm.
But then that would make the game not as much fun, I think. Plus, I can imagine just how much pressure will be on you.
Well, I mean, it would, yeah, definitely a lot of scrutiny, a lot of pressure. But I don't know. I feel like if it's something that like you really love and like, you know, enjoyed playing, then I think it would work out in the end.
Agreed. Okay, now it's your turn.
All right. Next question from Darklight. This is MapleStory related. Do you think MapleStory 2 will become pay to win? That is a very big topic at the moment, you know, in the community and just in general, you know, since the game started.
All right, actually, oh, sorry about that. That's me. I actually thought about that for quite a bit. And I was actually discussing this with a bunch of people I hang out with, and it's the whole concept of like a pay-to-win game versus a free-to-play game. If the company themselves does not make the game pay-to-win, the players will make it pay-to-win, because one way or another, there will be some way that you can advance your current standing in the game with monetary resources. So like if you had the wherewithal to, like, I know this is not, I'm not endorsing this, but like you very much could purchase Meso from the bot channel or all that. Apparently there's like a red one now. So you could very much like buy stuff from people using real money, like, or you can pay someone real money to go onto your account, or even like carry you through bosses like a certain amount of times. You can pay your way through a lot of ways that even if it's not endorsed by the company, you could still do it. Like it's underhanded, but like I say, you can still do it. So in the case of MapleStory 2, where everything is currently free to play to an extent, there are ways that you can definitely make it pay to win. And that's the issue that they have for every single game, in where even if a game is free to play, there's gonna be some way, like even in a game where like you can't physically buy anything in the game, you can pay someone to play the game for you, which in a sense is being pay to win.
Right.
Do I think MapleStory 2 as the game itself will become pay to win? No, I think if they wanted to make it pay to win, they never would have removed the ways to make it pay to win, like the glow gems or whatever they're called. What were they called again?
Lumistones?
Lumistones, there we go. They would not have taken that away.
You're talking about the like the NX nebulites, quote unquote, right?
More or less, yes. They would not have taken that away in the first place. If they take that away and add back in later, that would be extremely detrimental for their PR. Just because it shows that they did that only to entice us to want to play the game, to support it, and then they would just like, you know, bait and switch and say, ha, okay, actually it's pay to win again. Their way of making income right now, and the way any game should be making income right now, is the right way to do it. To do purely cosmetics, encouraging us to do our own designs like through UGC and everything, and them taking just a little bit of the sale. That's the best way they can do it right now, and I think that's the only way to maintain that sort of agency between player and the game without having to spend money. But like I said, it's not to be like pessimistic. There is always going to be a way for the game to be pay to win, as unfortunate as it sounds.
Right. Now let me add on a little bit to that. It's not a part of the question, but MapleStory 2, I believe at the start of the game, did mention that that the merit market will be a thing in the game. I don't know if they backtracked that because they haven't spoken about it since then, but the merit market is essentially a red merit conversion to meso. What do you feel about that?
See, I wouldn't know, just because from like a fundamental standpoint, I want to believe that, like, even if there, like I said, there might be ways that, like, for like a red merit conversion to meso, that does exist. However, it's not at the core of the game. Since you're asking, is the game pay to win? The game at its core, no, I don't think it will be pay to win. The design, I guess, the aim of the game's design, or like the game's overall design, is not designed to be pay to win, as opposed to a game like, let's say, MapleStory 1, where it is very apparent that the game it requires you to purchase cubes and stuff like that. You can do it, obviously, the old-fashioned slow way, Master Craftsman and Meister cubes, and like occasional hot time rewards. Yeah, or play Reboot. But one way but like that game in its concept is a pay to win game. MS2, no. So the little nitpicking and nooks and crannies, or like the little cracks in the armor that you see in the game, I don't think is necessarily pay to win. I don't know too much about that, so I can't form a sound judgment on it. But to answer your question like fully, I don't think no, I don't think MapleStory 2 will be pay to win, because there's a lot more scrutiny attached to that game than there is MapleStory 1.
It's really new. So yeah, I agree with that. Okay.
This one's from Nick Van Zolen. I really apologize if I butcher the pronunciation. How do you see yourself in about 5 years? What are your expectations for the future, or do you hope to be able to do? It's a very basic Q&A question.
5 years. I hope to be done with school. I hope I'm not still stuck in school, because currently I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do. I'm technically a computer science major. However, I am thinking about dropping that and going into teaching instead. So that may or may not become a thing, but I'm not 100% on that. So in 5 years, I would like to just have a solid job with a stable income, whatever that might be. I'm not really being specific here. Or if streaming takes off, then that'd be great too. And just try to do that full time. I either just have some sort of stability in terms of income.
Yeah, I think that's everyone. if I can also answer that, I know I'm not going to go too far into it. A lot of people ask me like, would I do this full time? Like if content creation ever became a thing, and
yeah,
a lot of people would jump right onto it. For me, I don't think so, because the very second it becomes work, it just doesn't, you lose that bare essence of like the reason why you want to do it in the first place. Because no matter how much a person says it's not about the money, money is involved, and they will be pushed to, like a person would be pushing themselves to upload more content if they had to pay their bills with it. So,
or like streaming more often,
yeah,
right? And kind of like putting in more hours because you feel like, you know, you need to reach more people so you can get like donations and stuff like that.
There's always that little like devil on the devil on the shoulder whispering in your ear.
That's true. Yeah. That's true. Okay. Next question. This one from Time. Also, just, you know, kind of going back to the MapleStory. Where do you find the most fun from MapleStory 2 at the moment? What's the most fun for you?
I'm gonna say the forced party interactions and stuff, because I would say I had a lot more activity with my guild than I've had in MapleStory 1 over the course of ever since, well, Noctis was the first guild I've ever joined in MapleStory 1, so that's why I made it my guild in MapleStory 2. As for like why I found it the most fun, I haven't felt this much intensity from a game called from one of the Nexon games doing chaos raids than I had like back when I did my first chaos.com run when I was back in 2011. So I'd say, yeah, the forced party aspect, and just the fact that it sort of reminds me about how like back then MapleStory 1 wasn't a solo aspect. You had to do everything with everyone. There's some level of toxicity that is brewing about with the whole, like, you know, players kicking each other because they don't like a certain amount of damage, but for me,
there's always going to be something like that, especially when it comes to end game content, the higher end content, where damage is where it's like, you know, it's time gated. Yeah. Right. There definitely will be like that regardless.
The experience is not nearly as innocent as it used to be. You know, back in like 2005, everyone was all like young and friendly.
If this game came out like, you know, 10 years ago, it would be a way different experience.
Oh, definitely. Right now this game is just memeing about the beaters or something. Did you know what's going on in MS2 right now? Yeah, like
definitely.
That could be a whole nother topic for another time. She's like, okay. But yeah,
just make a whole podcast about that.
Right, let's bring every single content creator from every single video game. No, actually, let's bring everyone from life, because that's exactly how life is too. Like the top 1% controls 90% of the world or something. Okay. Anyways, what's your advice on building a strong work ethic? Oh, this is by David. I struggle with procrastinating and overall laziness.
Well, I do too. I think, well, in terms of work ethic, I'm assuming he was referring to like my streaming and because I'm not really consistent on YouTube at all. I really put a lot into Twitch, into streaming, because I feel like it's the best place I can like reach an audience, you know, reach my viewers that like talking to me on a regular basis. It's all about consistency. You know, and that's kind of like, I didn't really say that to myself when I first started streaming, but that's what it really boils down to. If you set you know, a goal and you want to reach it, nothing is better than to continuously do what you're doing on a scheduled basis. You know, and you know, there are times where, you know, there is a leeway in terms of like, you know, when I started, because like, you know, life comes first and gets in the way, but yeah, I would definitely just say that that's the number one thing.
Yeah, I would agree too, because I've recently started getting back into daily, or I would say like 5 to 6 videos a week on YouTube, and being a college student as well as also being a day trader during the morning. It's a lot of work, especially, but the way I see it is that never get yourself out of the feeling of being busy. It's like there's the very famous feeling of like during school, you really want summer vacation, but during summer vacation you kind of miss school, and that's because
yes, definitely.
You transition from having something to do and then going straight to just like you wake up in the morning and the only thing you can do is just be like not even wear pants all day. That's not a very healthy. That's like the same thing as binge eating and then not eating the next day, and it's not like as physically apparent, but I feel that too. Like what Matt said with consistency, once you get yourself into the routine and you don't get off it, that's the worst thing you can do, is just like take a huge break. Sometimes it's important to rest, but don't go on like an extended period of time without doing anything. And then you keep yourself in that routine. That's also how people go to the gym. The people who go to the gym have no problem going to the gym. The people who don't, they struggle with going to the gym.
Yeah. Okay. Next question is from I believe DD Breaker. Do you plan on making videos on other games? The sort of videos for entertainment, while MapleStory 2 will be more for guidance / informative videos. I know you did a bit of that on your old channel.
Yeah, I tried to.
Any plans on this one, or just solely MapleStory / MapleStory?
See, it's hard for me really to find I guess I suppose like this is also a tell-all for me, but one of the reasons why I keep coming back to MapleStory 1, even though I don't feel too great about it, is just because MapleStory 1 has given me something to plant roots in. As much as I'm not that type of person who likes to establish like commitments to things, well, of course, if it's serious, like let's say a relationship, of course I would, but I don't like to ground myself in certain things. For content creation, that's a different thing, because especially with content creation, unless you start at the very beginning as a variety streamer or a variety content creator, it's hard for you to go from being a variety content creator, or from someone who locks themselves into a position, to being a variety content creator. That's the main reason why I'm so happy about MapleStory 2, is that it's finally essentially enabled me to break free from that consistent like wanting like MapleStory 1, where like I want to be there, but at the same time I don't. So would I stream other things, or would I make videos on other things? Yes, probably in the future, like maybe a few token videos here and there if I enjoy a game. From an entertainment standpoint, unfortunately, probably not. I don't consider myself the most... I don't really know if I have a sense of humor or not. I mean, I don't want to consider myself boring, but I feel like for me, I'm much more comfortable teaching people. I really love teaching. That's why I'm really happy that you want to be a teacher. I just like showing people what to do. I'm not necessarily the kid that you want to invite to like a party and get wasted and stuff. I don't do that. So yeah,
neither do I.
I'm not the greatest internet personality out there. That's another reason why I don't stream, because I don't find myself...
Well, I mean, it's okay, because like even if you feel like you have the personality of like a wet noodle, which a lot of people, you know, consider themselves to have, as long as you offer something, I feel like it would be okay. Like for example, you like being informative, you like teaching people. Shut up, phone.
Oh, that's going in the video. I ain't editing that out. Nope.
Takes a while.
Yeah. No, I don't hear it.
Oh, okay. No, yeah, but anyways, yeah, as long as you like, you have something to offer, you'll always garner an audience.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's how I feel. Cause I mean, I wouldn't say I'm like the most interesting person in the world, you know, yet for some reason people decide to click on my stream and say hello.
Well, there is another specific reason why I don't stream, which I guess I'll tell you personally. That's a little too personal for me to share in public, but yeah, I might, like I said, I might make videos in other games, but if I do make videos in other games, it would be of the sort of like, you know, an intellectual conversation, not so much a Markiplier, Jacksepticeye and stuff like that. I don't think, well, if you become super big to the point where at this point you have you amassed an audience to where you can do anything you wanted and you would make like at least get a certain amount of viewership, then yes. But for a very small channel, no, I don't think that's very it's not very practical. And I don't have as much experience in other games as I do in the game that I do content creation on, which means making informational videos is a risk because I don't know enough about that game compared to YouTubers who are already those established content creators. Like let's say the Whiyu for Halo, or like the Whiyu for CS:GO or something like that. I can't do that because there's already someone out there who's already established it. So if some random person comes in and starts making content creation when they have very little experience on it, then it's just doesn't really work out too much. But I don't like playing too many games either. I like to just like narrow myself down to like 1 or 2 or 3. Like at the moment, I've dropped League of Legends just because I freaking hate that game now. And now I'm playing MapleStory 2. I am playing a couple mobile games, and then when Smash Ultimate comes out and Kingdom Hearts 3, oh yes, that's coming out too. Then I'll play those, but I wouldn't really make videos for them. Just focus on MS2. Oh, and cooking works too. This one's from James Hero. How do you make lasting relationships in games? Seems like you've known Jin for some time. Sometimes people just fall off the face of the game or community chat and never see each other again.
See, that's a little tricky, because when it comes to like forming relationships, it's not like well, there's like a few different kinds, right? There are those that, like, you know, with people you talk on a daily basis, right? And you know, you tend to know a lot more about each other. But there are different kinds of relationships. For example, Jin and I, we don't talk on a regular basis. We don't, like, you know, slide into each other's DMs. Well, that's sometimes all right, but I don't know. I think it just boils down to if someone wants to keep in touch, then they will. A conversation is a two-way street. So, you know, you have to have some interest, and they do too. I wouldn't say there's any, like, secret to it. It just kind of happens.
Yeah, you need a reason to want to keep in touch with that person. If you're like let's say talking to a person just for the sake of like passing time, then that relationship is very tenuous. Whereas for me, one of the criteria I set for myself with keeping in touch with a person is whether or not they've helped me through something. Not in the sense of like, oh, you're useless to me, but more when they were there for me when I needed it. Like, I won't get super savvy here, but Matt has definitely cheered me up. He was a shoulder I cried on quite a few times, incessantly in some cases, and that's how I stayed in touch with him. And a lot of my other friends, like, you gotta have that. For me, I have a very strict definition on the word friend. Not in that, like, oh, you must be rich, famous, sexy, popular, and all that stuff. No, not that. But more, you have, like, there's a specific connection I have to form with you to want to keep in touch with you. And if that connection's formed, I'll do everything I can not to break it. Or if that connection starts to break because they're not keeping in touch, then I will do everything I can to try to keep them in touch. But if they're ghosting me and then telling me to take a hint, then of course I will respectfully honor them. But yeah, if you meet a person and you just like chit chat here and there, and let's say you're feeling something, you're feeling like this could be a good friendship, but nothing is keeping you two together besides you're talking to each other, then yeah, I don't think it's gonna really last for a long time. You have to be able to have a sense of agency with that person, and it has to be mutual. So, at least that's the way I see it.
Well, I mean, I kind of see it a different way, where like you don't see it that way, but I kind of do, because like you don't necessarily have to talk to someone on a daily basis to have them, to be your friend.
Yeah, of course.
You can hit them up like once in a while and kind of say hello, and I mean, I would still consider that to for someone to be my friend, as long as they still remember me. But I mean, I'm not talking about like hitting up someone like 6 years ago, and be like, hey, how's it go? Like obviously that person's not your friend. Mm-hmm. But as long as like you have some kind of connection, right? But I feel like even if that disappeared, like let's say for example, you make a friend over MapleStory 2, right? But they stop playing. They're not like gone from your life, right? It's not like they're not your friend anymore.
Yeah.
So even if like the thing tying you two together kind of disappears, and you don't talk as frequently anymore. I feel like that doesn't mean that they're still not your friend. But that all depend on like how it goes after that. Okay. Okay. Next question is from is a hard name. I'm gonna just say Sasha Fadul.
Okay.
How long does it take to write a script for a video, and how many drafts do you go through?
Oh, yeah, I'm sure a lot of people want to know about this. So I've recently been starting to record a good majority of my videos by writing a script. And it's not because I'm very bad at... No, I'm very bad at making videos ad-lib. I used to do that quite a lot. And going back on Smartboard and seeing some of the videos I've done ad-lib without any form of cutting whatsoever, and I'm just like... This is like the work of a 15-year-old. Because it was. For me, how long do my scripts tend to make? See, I really enjoy writing. I know it's very freaky that an Asian likes writing and not math. So I'm able to very easily articulate the words in my head, what I want to say, the topics I want to go through, and put it on paper in a very short amount of time. Like a 10-page script can take me less than 30 minutes to make because I know exactly what I want to say. The only reason why I do write a script is so that I can keep it there for reference. Like let's say, sure, while it's easy for me to come up with things to say for a 10-page paper, I can't maintain that in my head, so that's why I put it on a script. And reading off a script will also help me I guess, mitigate the amount of times that I mess up, because when you go ad lib, you stutter and whatever. But if I have something to read, I'll be able to do that. As for how many drafts I go through, only one. I do a few corrections here and there, like on the way. While I'm writing, I'm like, this doesn't look very good. Or if I don't find it to be that important, then I would just cut it out during the audio editing. But it does take a decent amount of time because you have to write the script and then you have to record it, and then you have to record edit down the audio, and then you have to record the footage, and then you have to edit that down, and then you have to put them together. So the time it takes for me to make a video has increased significantly. Back when in some of my videos in Smartboard, the VS videos were just the template. I take the clip, I put it in there, and it takes like 5 minutes to do.
The best kind of videos.
Yes, the videos that take only 5 minutes but get the most views. Alright. This one's from Parcel. This is a very unique question. Do you have any tattoos? If not, would you like to have one? What will it be if you wanted one? And if you had tattoos, what are they?
So no, I don't have any tattoos. If I had to get a tattoo, I think it would be kind of generic, where it was something that I always wanted, like growing up, where it would be a dragon spiraling down my arm from like my shoulder.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, that I mean, like, cause like I love dragons, the amazing mythical creatures. Yeah, that's about it. I don't really care about anything else to be tattooed on my body. Just that if I were to get one. Okay. And I know it would hurt a lot.
Do they actually? Because like I know they're not pleasant, of course, but I wondered if like tattoos are
well, I mean, because like it would go like around the arm, right? And like this part is like flabby and very soft, right? So if you had a pen like pierce through that, like, is
a tattoo just like the is that what, or is it just like you're stabbing the like all over? Like
I don't know. I would have to ask my sister. She has a lot of tattoos.
Okay, well, we'll answer that question later on, like, post-production or something. Alright, your turn.
Okay. Next question from David Chen. What is your major, and do you enjoy it?
Okay, the nerd version of my major, or actually the simple one, is just game design and development with a dual major in communications. The nerd version is game simulation, arts, and sciences, which is essentially all interdisciplinary fields of game design. So the music department, the art department, the cognitive science, computer science, the writing department, that's everything. And then I'm taking a dual major in communications and human-computer interaction, which focuses more on the usability of things, not just video games, but just overall. And do I enjoy it? Yes, but because for the one, it's every assignment is projects, which means that there's a lot more legroom, there's a lot more options you can do. They tell you like you should make a project about or you should write about this topic, but you can figure out any way you want to write it. Like, in fact, that's the best part, is that it's cool seeing my classmates and how they internalize that prompt and how they look at it. The issue is that, oh, also one more good thing is that we have no final exams. So I get to go home early, 2 weeks early, while the rest of my classmates are dying inside for a good 2 weeks. But the one thing I dislike about it is the fact that whereas in a more practical major, let's say like computer science or something, or like physics, where they give you something, let's say physics, like they give you a bunch of questions, there's only one way to answer those questions most of the time. There's only one answer. So if you know that answer, you're all set. It's something that's already given to you and you just have to figure out how to do it. Whereas for a creative field such as mine, you not only have to do a specific task, but you also have to essentially come up with that task, and writer's block can cripple you a lot, or like even just creative block. And sometimes I go for like an entire week and a half without being able to think of anything, and then only like the day before the project is due is when it comes up in my head. But overall, as much as it does drive me nuts, because almost every project is a group project, you know how that works. Those party members that you have to carry through bosses because they don't do enough damage.
Yeah. Yeah, I've dealt with some of those. Not too many though. Like my project experience in college has been pretty positive overall. There was one computer science project which happened to be our final, where one guy just like completely disappeared, and I'm like, well then. But I don't know, just for the most part, I think it really comes down to like when everyone's available, right?
Yeah.
And trying to get that together. But when you have everyone, like, you know, you get stuff done. So like those are the best kinds, because sometimes you get together and then everyone just like messes around for like a few hours, and you don't want that.
Yeah, I've started, actually, my group project experiences, they started off actually, I was so lucky. In the 6 group projects I've done in freshman year, all 6 of them, I was the one being carried. Not in the sense like I wasn't doing enough work, but my group mates were so good, I felt like I was really useless. And for sophomore semester, my first project, we had a teammate who was very adamant about taking the most important role of the project. And we'd just like, all right, you know what? I'm like, okay, you know what? I've been blessed with the greatest teammates possible, so I'm gonna give this guy this role. And he was like super like, all right, it's all okay, don't worry, I got it. And we were supposed to create a game, had a big emphasis on tiles, and he was in charge of the tile mapping. He didn't get it done until literally the day before the project was due, and it wasn't even working. And then his excuse, after all of us were reading him the riot act, was, sorry, I'm not very good at managing my time. How did you get through freshman year?
but he wanted the most important part.
That's why we were pissed off. It's like, we trusted you. I gave you my heart. You ripped it into a million pieces. Like, come on. So that was really bad. But then over time, it started getting good to the point where for the project right before the most recent project I had was going back to the best teammates possible. So I don't know. I've had good experiences overall, but that one experience was bad because I ended everyone in that group got like a 60, which that's gonna hurt. That's gonna sting a lot for a GPA.
Yeah, that sucks.
But yes, overall, I do enjoy my major quite a bit. It feels very much at home for me because I love video games. I love writing. I love the story aspect of games, and I'm a very deep person. If maybe it's not apparent in my videos, so I enjoy that quite a bit.
It's good.
Okay, this one is from Rinka Lee. What are your thoughts on full dive technology, and if it were to become a thing, would you drop regular games for full dive? So Sword Art Online, Excel World.
Leave question.
Wait, what?
No, I'm playing. He's obviously referring to SAO. All right.
I think it's a she. Rinka sounds like a girl name, but no, we're not gonna assume people's. Don't worry.
No, okay, fine. No assuming gender. All right. Damn. I mean, can you ask that again?
Oh, yeah. What are your thoughts on full dive technology, and if it were to become a thing, would you drop regular games for full dive?
100%. I think with what I've seen from full dive, or stuff of that nature in anime, I think that would be an insanely cool thing to experience. Where like your body, like you're basically leaving your body, right, to this new place, and it's like you're fully functional, right? But so you're basically like transporting your soul somewhere else, and your body is just like there, just like lying there dead.
Yeah.
I think that would be an amazing experience. I would not want to, have a life or death situation there, obviously. But...
you die in the game, you die in real life.
That'd be terrible.
Wait, but let me throw you a curveball, though. Let me throw you a little curveball. Okay, you won't die if you die, but pain sensations, you will feel pain in any game that involves damage. It won't affect your real body, but like if you get cut or something, you'll feel it.
Mm-hmm.
What about that, though?
Well, yeah, of course. I don't know. I think that'd be fine. But just like overall with like full dive, I think if that could ever be developed, that would be the future of gaming.
Yeah, that would be the new meta.
That like streaming aside, whatever content creation, just like no one would care. Everyone would just like be together regardless of where you are in the world. That'd be so
You're
insane.
Living anime. You're literally living anime. It's like so, yes.
But imagine like games aside, imagine just like chat rooms, right? Like being able to like talk with my relatives from Poland without like just like with no strings attached, like I don't have to fly all the way over there. We can just log into this little chat room, right, and then see each other face to face and just talk. Like that'd be insane.
Yeah, or also like long distance relationships,
everything.
Yeah, or long distance relationships, those will be so easy to maintain after that.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I mean there's always that, like the physicality, right? But it would be a lot easier to maintain. So right. I really hope that Elon Musk does something about it soon.
Wait, what?
Yes, Elon Musk Chen leading us to the future.
Okay. Oh my word! All that crap going on with Elon Musk. All right, whatever. I mean, I have a position in Tesla. I just hope the stock doesn't tank. But yeah. Okay, that's your turn.
Okay. Next question is from another David, asking, what is your advice on how to become less introverted and more outgoing?
Oh,
thanks in advance.
Oh my goodness, this is okay. Actually, this is a fantastic question because I literally talked to someone about this yesterday. Like they're going, "You sound so extroverted in your videos," and I'm like, I guess to an extent. So for me, I was as introverted and shy, and like I want to be in my own little happy places like everyone else initially. But the longer I stayed in there, the more I was lonely, right? Now, there's a difference between being alone and being lonely. Introverts, they get... The main difference between an introvert and an extrovert is that extroverts find sustenance through social situations, whereas introverts find sustenance by having just like me time. That doesn't mean that we introverts enjoy being alone. Not like that at all. I love company. I love friends. I love family and stuff like that. But the battery drains quick. Essentially, I charge when I'm by myself, whereas extroverts charge when they're in social situations, like the reverse. So for me, the way I was able to break out of my shell was, well, from one, my mom like boot camped me through social graces and all that crap, like how to handle myself in conversation, etiquette, and mannerisms, and knowing how to behave in, especially towards strangers, that helps you so much because like, excuse me. Most of the reasons why introverts have a hard time like breaking out of the shell and talking to people is that, at least the way I see it, they don't know how to act in those situations. But if you know how to, then it makes things a lot easier. Like for me, even though I would consider myself very good at conversing with almost any person, the hardest part for me is the introductory phase. So I still struggle with being able to like approach people. But the second we shake hands, say hi, nice to meet you, and we find something to talk about, then a lot of teachers, especially in high school, and my parents too, and a lot of adults actually, they said that you say you're shy, Jin, but I don't see it at all. So the way I see it is that it's as cliche as it sounds that you have to step out of your comfort zone, but there are ways to make it a lot easier as opposed to just like being smack right in the situation. And that like you want to like train yourself to be able to know like, you know, proper mannerisms, proper etiquette. Not saying like you have to be super stiff and like cross your legs and stuff like that, or no, but in that, let's say, knowing what is offensive to people, like, you know, don't be offensive or be more of a, this is a great one, be more of a listener than a speaker. A person, they say the best conversationalist is one who listens. So try not to talk too much, which is not that difficult for introverts because they don't, they're very shy. But at the same time, conversations they're a door. They open both ways. You can't just like let one person monologue on you for the rest of the time. You have to be able to at least like show that you have some interest in the conversation besides just doing this like every single second. You literally just did it, man. So for me, yeah, it's just a little bit of experiences here and there, like, with your friend, or like if you want to just like even read. That's actually another way that I was able to really step out of my comfort zone, is that I read a lot. I love to read, and I also watch a lot of movies, a lot of anime and stuff. And I know what you guys are gonna say, like, oh, anime is not realistic and stuff. However, remember, you have to understand that any form of publication, whether fiction or nonfiction, was created by a person. Every piece of dialogue that's in those works of literature or those creative works was someone imagining a conversation. Therefore, you're essentially vicariously experiencing a conversation through what they would experience as well. And so you can pick stuff up like that. Like when you read a book, people talk all the time. So a lot of the conversations that I put myself in real life, I use the knowledge I've learned from just like reading books and saying like, okay, this character acted like this. Now it's not like when a girl's crying, you're like, you'd be all like, sappy and whatever, but it's just knowing how to, just basically having the right tools. Because obviously, nothing will beat life experience. You have to experience it. However, people study for a test. Why do they study for a test? So that when the test comes in, they don't know what to expect from the test most of the time, but they at least can be prepared for a situation similar to it. They never give you the problems on the test to study for, because that's exactly like what you have to do. They give you stuff similar to that. So by reading or by watching things and understanding how other people would talk, even if they're fictional characters, they were made by an actual person who has had experiences with talking. And that's how I was able to like become less introverted. Although I still am. That's also, I guess YouTube helped too. I'm mad. Didn't that help you a lot too?
For like streaming?
Yeah, because like a lot of like streamers, they say they're introverted, but they sound so outgoing, and I think it's because like streaming and YouTube has helped them do that. At least for me.
Yeah, I agree. I'm in the same boat as you, where we have to find some kind of like common ground for to kind of like break the ice, because when it comes to talking to people, especially if I know that they don't share the same interests as me, it's hard,
Yes.
And I prefer to like to just like be by myself, and that way I won't cause anyone else like problems. Yeah.
Okay, so this is the last question that we ask the person. So this one's from Mark N. How do you get through those patches of your life where you feel lazy, unfulfilled, and not necessarily depressed, but you feel like you're not really getting anywhere?
Oh man, pretty good question.
Hey, I saved the best question for last. You put me right on the spot for the first one.
That's true. That's true. Damn. Well, all right. So what it really boils down to is, for me at least, you take things one day at a time. You always want to do the best you can and make sure that you do better tomorrow. You always look forward to tomorrow, and if something is not going your way, then that's fine. Okay? Life is about, well, I should say life is a battle. There will be ups and there will be downs. I just try to I don't force myself to be super positive all the time, because that in itself can be really damaging to your mental state. You want to look at things really realistically, and just take it at your own pace, So even if there are times where I feel like I'm not doing something, or I'm not, nothing's being fulfilled, that's okay, because you can't avoid that, okay? unless you're super like even like the most organized person actually will struggle with something down the line, you know, and will break that. So always try to be better, you know. It sounds a little cliche, you know, but you always want to try to be better tomorrow. And yeah, I mean that's about it.
Yeah, I struggle with that too much. It's because like I keep forgetting that life is not just like a straight shot up. It's like a this and this.
It's not.
Sometimes this and then yeah.
It's not a straight line, you know. And I think a lot of people forget that, including myself, you know.
We all do.
So and it's like also like society plays a big role in that too, where if you're not on track to do X, Y, and Z right in life, then you're considered a failure, right? Everyone goes at something, you know, in their own pace. Even when it comes to school, right? People tell you that you go to college 4 years, graduate, get a job, right? That's I mean, yeah, you can do that, but that doesn't mean that if someone is taking 6 or 8 years to graduate, that they won't be successful in life, right? It's just taking them a little bit longer. You don't know their life situation, and yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to say about that.
I think the important thing is as long as you're aware of this feeling of you're not like getting anywhere, because at least
it's really easy to like when you're feeling that way to like really put yourself down.
Oh my God.
It's like and then when you put yourself down, it's really hard to bring yourself back up, you know.
Yeah.
And I've had those kind of like I've been in that situation, you know. But sometimes it takes, you know, maybe being in a slump for a month or two to finally realize that, you know, maybe it's time to do something. Maybe it's time, like you know, you just like something happens, right? Like you're doing your daily routine, but like something like sparks in your mind, or you know, or someone just like tells you the most insignificant thing, but that, like, you know, something just triggers, and you know, I don't know, just like you can wait for that. I'm not saying that, you know, that you have to, but I mean that's like something that can happen.
Yeah, it's one of those.
It has happened to me.
Yeah, it's one of those paradoxical things of like good things come to those who wait, but at the same time don't wait for stuff to happen, make it happen. For me, I was just minding my own business on, like, you know, doing my normal thing, and then YouTube just said, hey, we're putting you on the trending page for like a day. I'm like, oh, okay, thank you. But then at the same time, mix it up a bit, like, you know, do something else, like go to the gym, join a club. If you're in school or whatever, join a club. Like, do something to, like, if the same thing, like, let's say, I'm gonna give you a quick analogy. If you're like banging your head against the wall and nothing is happening, then continuously banging your head against the wall will probably not make anything happen after that. So if you maybe...
I mean, I feel like you'll eventually make a hole.
Well, yes, certain you do.
Like something either you'll pass out or you'll end up making a dent in the wall.
Yes, persistence is important, but when it comes to just like you're going about your daily routine, wake up, go to school, go home, or whatever. If that's not working out, then instead of like wake up, go to school, maybe after school you go and like play tennis with your friend. And something might happen. Most of the times, the good stuff, or like the changes in people's lives, they happen just out of like no particular reason at all. It's just like, hi.
Exactly.
So,
but like, you know, like what if you can't make that kind of change? You know, like again, like what if you're just like really stuck on the bottom? What would you do?
Nature runs its course. You know, time will eventually reset, and it's the hedonistic treadmill or something, where it's like life, every form of happiness or sadness will eventually even back out to a straight line. So if you're depressed or something and you feel like you really can't really get anywhere, then the worst thing you can do is quit the game at that point in time. And by quitting the game, you obviously know what I mean. Stay in the game, wait it out. Might just be like it's kind of like if I were to bring a game down to you, let's say you're playing a class that like really sucks in the early game, but in the later game it can blossom very well. So it's just, you gotta just be patient. That's what I'm saying. Be patient. The worst thing you could do is give up. That's it's cliche. It's so cliche, but that's the worst thing you can do is to give up.
But it's true.
Yeah,
it's true.
There's a very popular trading saying, like proverb that say, you never lose unless you sell. You never lose if you don't sell. So as long as you just like, if you're like stubborn enough and you maintain yourself in whatever you're doing, like I said, time will run its course and everything will be fine. This turning into like a motivational Q&A. It's kind of weird. All right. Anyways, so that's the 8 questions we chose. For the questions that we didn't choose, we do apologize. There's a lot to choose from, but we did read everyone's questions, so don't take it personally. I mean, I'd love to do a Q&A that lasts like 6 hours long, but I actually have a project due tomorrow. But we'll do one more question. Is the question I like to ask Matt, and a question Matt wants to ask me, and then later we'll choose which question we think was the best one to talk about. But for Matt, my question to you is, how would you propose to your future wife?
Oh my God, really?
Yes.
Oh, how would I
show us just how cringe you can become?
Bro, oh my God. I don't think I'm the kind of guy to like go out of my way to do something like really big. I feel like it would depend on, like, you know, on my wife, like the kind of person she is, you know, whether I meet her like, you know, from a social gathering or, you know, online, right, through playing video games. I'll like, again, like I'm not someone that would go out of their way to do anything amazing. So I would just simply, you know, go to dinner, wait until she has to go to the bathroom, then kneel right in front of the door as she's coming. No, I wouldn't do that. No, I mean, that's really like all it would be, you know?
It's so Resident Sleeper, dude. I expected more.
Really? Like, well, okay, so what did you think I would say?
I thought you would, I don't know, Photoshop a whole bunch of, something MapleStory related. You would get like 5, like, you get like 20 characters and they would make like letters like, will you? Or something. I thought it'd be something like that, but it's just, like, oh no, just go to dinner, wait till she goes to the bathroom, and you like sneak a ring in her soup and she'll choke on it or something, and then...
Okay, I don't know about that. I don't know about that, but no, it'll just be like a nice classy dinner, you know, and just wait for the right moment. That's basically it.
Hopefully Full Dive comes out, because then I can do something fancy with mine, but yeah, we'll see.
No.
We'll see.
Okay. Alright. Now, my question to you is MapleStory related, of course it is. Alright, so, because, you know, you're MapleStory too, right? You're a big shot, alright? You know, everybody wants to know what's on your mind, alright? Okay. So, if you had to make MapleStory 2 better in any way right now as the game is, what would it be? Just one thing.
Oh hell, like I would take over the entire company. That's what I would do.
The most important thing.
Okay, it has to be in the. It can't be. I can take over the company and do whatever.
No. In game. If you had to like change anything, like how something works currently, what would you do to make the game better?
This is like a very general sense. But I would bring back, or I would make quests more important in the game, because for me, I think the really bad part about MMOs these days, even like MapleStory 2, which I think is a fantastic one, every game at this point has become so universalized. Because I talked to a guildie of mine before. I loved how MapleStory 1 was back in the day, because there was variety. There were different things that people explored. You know, it wasn't just like if we were to go in MapleStory 1, MapleStory 2, like in MapleStory 1 and MapleStory 2, there are now universal sets of equipment. Like, say there's the thief set, or the assassin set, or this set, or whatever. And in MapleStory 1, there's like, the CRA set, the Emperor set, the Arcane set. There's gonna be the Genesis set I heard coming soon. That streamlines gameplay completely to where it very heavily limits replayability. Whereas back in MapleStory 1, there was no universal set of equipment, or like there was no set of quests that you had to do, no proper like nothing relatively it's a one-size-fits-all type thing. Everyone was exploring different things to do, like for Dark Knights they go out to the Sky Ski, for Errands they go out to the Crimson Arclave,
or whether or not you're like a Dexless or low Dex Sin,
yeah,
right? And you would use like the level 80 top bottom, or just a plain Sonarobe, right? With 50 luck on it.
Or like even quests, there were like some quests that like in the game that were like you can do, or like I would do things like maybe add quests in the game that only, like I was really disappointed when at the very beginning of every class they would have like their own little class art, right? With the assassin it was like you're betraying the life you lived, or like a heavy gunner you blow up Edelstein and now you're living a life of servitude or something, or when you're playing a berserker and you lose your sister, I think she was your sister. I like that. I was like, oh wait, everyone's gonna get their own story. That means just give me a reason to play everything. No, you just sent you straight to Lith Harbor and you gotta do that shit all over again.
You get like your little like 5 minutes and then you're like, oh okay, now I'm,
and then
else.
Then I just turn on and then I just play music all day to get to, like, it's good to not it's good to not make a game confusing, especially since I study usability and stuff, that you want to make things universally mindless. But they take that away in so many, that's what made games fun. Of course, like I said, the society nowadays, like the meta, the way their perspective on video games is not as it's not as, I guess, innocent as it was back then. Back then we had no problems wasting like 6 hours of our day going around and wandering and doing whatever the hell you want to do. But now, with video games, as video games grow, as we grow, we have adopted this mindset of find the best and fastest way to do everything. Which now it's
all about efficiency.
Yeah, it's all about efficiency. It's all about trying to get, like, what's the best in slot and everything like that. No one cared about that back then. It was just play the game and you thought your damage was cool, and then you saw someone with twice your damage and you're like, man.
Or you would be on the boat to Elnath, not Elnath, to
How
Orbis.
have you forgot Orbis, my dude? Come on.
Orbis dying to Balrogs, so you've been traveling for like 2 hours.
Yeah. A person. That's the 4th time today. Oh my god. Oh my god. I bit the side of my lip this morning during lunchtime while I was recording my Berserker guide, and now ow, it's gonna be so bad. Oh my, ow. Okay. Oh, okay, no, that hurts.
About your lip?
It's cut. No, the side of my mouth. The side of my mouth.
Oh yeah. I would, yeah, like your cheek, right?
Yeah. What the hell? What's wrong with me today? Our definition of fun back then was just was very lenient to just do whatever the hell you wanted as long as you were laughing and having a good time. That's all that mattered. But now, to us, fun is synonymous with progress, or progress is synonymous with fun. If you are making yourself better than you were the day before, that is fun. And if you don't, that is not fun. And that was probably because of the meta shift in video games, and where before it was MMOs and now it's like MOBAs, it's a competitive, now it's FPS, Battle Royale, where there are ranking systems. If you pass, you advance. If you fail, you fall backwards. It's not a, I didn't pass this 30%. Okay, I mean, whatever, I didn't lose anything. But in games like League of Legends or in any game with a ranking system, if you win, you go up. If you lose, you go down. It's a zero-sum game, which is now sort of permeating into MMOs where there is no such thing as going backwards unless you blow up an item, like in MS1. But there are precautions you can take to stop that. So people who fail plus 15 or whatever, and they're like, I'm pissed, like screw RNG, all that stuff. Yes, I mean MS2 does have faults with the RNG, a little too much. RNG on top of RNG on top of RNG. Never in that point in time do you lose anything or go back. Do you go backwards? Like, sure, you waste time, but at least you're playing the game, right, as opposed to doing something else. But because people have become adjusted with winning equals good, fun, losing equals not fun, that's turned us into it's given us a very insatiable desire to want to keep going. And that's what's causing games to also not have the same longevity that they did before, because the second progress is halted, people won't play the game.
Now you kind of bring up a good point with MapleStory 2 and RNG, because like your MapleStory 2 is gated by RNG and by time, right? So on top of the amount of runs that you can do, you're also gated by you know, just what you can get from those runs, and have it be either really good or really bad, and odds are really bad most of the time, which is why people can't seem to progress more regularly. Like when it comes to something like well, you know, just like a different, I can't really think off the top of my head, but like a different game where gating by the amount of times you can do something is fine, right? Nothing wrong with that, but the contents and the rewards that you can get should not be random as well. Like they should just be like static.
Yeah, like there's a direct correlation to how much time you put into the game is how much stuff you get out of it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is,
all right, so going back to the question though,
I would essentially, well, this is an extremely abstract answer, but I will add more options to the game as opposed to just the same experience, because regardless of what class you play, it's the exact same experience. You level up to level 60 either by doing AFK fishing and music or doing the quest line, and then you farm dungeons endlessly. That's it. It is, I mean, it's good to have dailies and routine, but that monotony, once again, we go into the whole, like, you feel like you're not getting anywhere, because, sure, even if you're making progress, it's like your daily routine, outside the game, also it changes, but if something different happens in the game every day, like, you feel as if your life is different every day, because you have something different to look forward to. So yeah, I would add more variety, and I would eliminate what's the universality? I don't know. I would eliminate a one size fits all model of MapleStory 2, which is very broad and abstract, of course. But that's what I would do. Yeah, I want to bring back that agency that people have in the game, where like one person opted for the Scarlet Target helmet, another person went for the Chaos Horntail necklace, the other person went for Zakum helmet. They were different, but they weren't necessarily like any that much farther from each other. The only reason why people are upset that you're gated by time and RNG in MapleStory 2 is because they're upset that other people are getting ahead of them just by being lucky. But why does it matter? Like, if no one else is playing, let's just say it was a single player game and like, oh, I didn't get lucky, then like, you wouldn't be in such a rush to take down Chaos Dvorak or Chaos Captain Mach.
Because people want to be competitive, but can't because of the RNG. You know, like you want to aim, because everyone plays differently, right? Everyone's got their own game. But when it comes to like really those hardcore players, and you know, you want to be one of the best, and like, you know, going for first clears, it's hard to do that when no matter how much effort you put into it, you can still be just destroyed by game's RNG. Like,
yeah, of course, agreed.
Yeah, exactly. That's really, you know, and that's just one perspective, right? One player, but that's like really what sucks for a lot of people. Like, MapleStory 2 is asking, you know, hey, how's Chaos DevRag going, right? You know, how are your clears going? Well, MapleStory 2, I can't seem to get even into the dungeon because
I'm only
my
plus 13.
Whack. My gear's freaking whack, you know, and then like again, I have like a plus 12 and I have 200 fail stacks, you know, and it's like, well, thank you for asking, right? Like it's something like that where, you know, they really have to find a different way to promote progression.
Yeah, I think they were trying to,
like it's even apparent right now where like people are leaving.
Yeah,
you know, people like this is really bad for the game.
Yeah, people are trying to rage quit
long term.
I think next one they're trying to prevent progression from going like out of control, but they're doing it in probably one of the most suppressive ways I've ever seen. So they've been talking about it, though. I'm hopeful. I'm optimistic. But yeah, okay.
They've been very receptive to
yeah, oh no, definitely. Like I have no problem with something not working. Like they always say, like when you always ask the teacher, what kind of student do you want? A student who's a genius to begin with but doesn't give a shit and just like BS's his way through school, or a student who's struggling really hard but has the determination, has the work ethic and the desire to want to improve. That is the student they would pick, the latter, not the former. That's what next on for MapleStory 2 is right now. They know that the MS2 has a ton of things wrong, but at least they want to fix it, and that's what we gotta be patient. That's what we have to like give them credit for, because not many companies care. They don't care. Yeah. They don't care. But yeah. All right. Anyways, it's like 45-minute video. It was only 8 questions, but we ended up essentially both of us answered every question there. So I mean, it works out. I had fun. So yeah. I think. I want a little bit more time to think about the questions. Plus, I don't remember all the questions Matt asked me off the top of my head, and I'm sure you don't either. So we will leave the winner in the description below instead. But thank you guys so much for giving us these questions. It was a pretty fun talk. I haven't had this in a while. I might do it again. I might do it again.
This was fun.
Yeah,
it's always fun, you know. So
I can't imagine like a 4-way Q&A though. That'd be insane. Okay, but
that would be a little hectic. You know, but...
Yep. Okay. Well, Matt, you want to say anything else or?
No, just once again, you know, thank you everyone who left a question. We're sorry that we couldn't get to everyone's question because, again, trying to upload like a 5-hour video. I've done it.
Really?
It's long. Yeah, the race against Zong. It was just like a straight upload.
Oh, the arc race.
Yeah, arc race, and nobody wants to do that. So
yeah. Also, I'll have to edit for 5 hours. Oh my gosh. No, it won't be 5 hours. It's a 5-hour video, but with the rule of editing, it's 4 times the length of it. So I'll have to spend 20 hours editing a video. Oh gosh, but
exactly. But yeah, you know, just thank you to everyone, and this was fun. You know, thank you to Jin. You're on this side for me.
Thank you to Matt.
Am I on this one for you? So, you know, big thank you to Jin for doing this, and you know, just asking me to do this because again, this is a really fun thing to do.
Yeah, actually, there is a way we can do a 5-hour Q&A. Live stream it, but that would be even more obnoxious. I don't know, maybe we will. All right, but anyways, I gotta get going, and I have stuff to do. But seriously, thank you guys so much for the Q&A. We'll probably do it again. I don't know if I will do it with Matt, or I don't know if Matt will do a Q&A again with me. Well, we will. I feel like we will. But yeah, for now, thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you guys again in the next video. Take care.
Bye.